Okay, so I've been wanting to start posting podcast episodes on my YouTube channel. This is my first attempt at this. I'm going to record some video with the idea that I may put this on the channel. But this is for the mini-sode that I am putting out today about being stood up on a date last night. So if you follow me on Instagram, I documented about it kind of in real time on my stories, and I let everyone know that this morning there would be a podcast episode, a mini episode or a mini-sode about it, and I have much to do this morning. So in order to deliver on that promise, I am doing some recording while I do my stuff. So currently, I also thought it was fitting that like I'm heating up my leftovers from last night from the restaurant that I took myself to after I realized I was being stood up. So, a good place to start. I wish I had an audio recorder so that as I'm recording this, I can be getting the audio for the podcast. But anyway, so I mean, I have to take it back a little bit. I went on a date with this guy. Let's call him. I don't know. What am I gonna call him? I don't know. Call him. I don't know what to call him. I'm trying to get too creative, but I usually like the name to apply in some way. No, I won't go with that one. So let's just say that when one of my friends had seen his dating profile photo, she said it gave her American Psycho vibes. And I'm not going to go as far as to say the man is a sociopath because he stood me up. But it's just very weird the way it came about. So I'll just call him AP for American Psycho. Not because he is, but because it works. So I went on a date with AP about a week and a half ago. It was a fun date. It was a good time. We seemed to hit it off. We both shared that we'd like to see each other again. And then over this past about week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, whatever amount of time it's been, we've texted here and there. Not a lot, but we've checked in. I had gone on a trip to Rhode Island. He checked in on how my trip was, all of that. And then yesterday specifically, I had been minding my business, and he reaches out to me and invites me out. He's like, let's go to the Palms, which is this restaurant slash club in his town that I hadn't gone to before. And, he implied like dancing. He put the like dancing emoji. I was like, okay, we're going to dance. We're going to go dancing. And and I said, sure. And then he got back to me and he said, oh, I didn't realize that it doesn't open until 9. So let's go to Barcelona first. Let's meet at Barcelona first, which is a restaurant. And so I was like, okay, great. And then he said, text me when you're on your way. I live very close to the restaurant. I said, great. I texted when I was, like, right before I pulled out of my driveway, which was about a half hour before 9, so about 8:30ish. And I told him I would be a little early because I wanted to have time to find parking. So I just sent that and went on my way. Never heard from him the whole time that I'm driving there. It's about it was about a 20-minute drive. And so then I pull into the parking garage and I text him that I'm here. Nothing. So then I call him. It rings normally and goes to voicemail. The voicemail where it just lists the phone number. And then so I hang up and I text him and I say, I just called. Now, at this point, it was a few minutes before 9, so I was still early. So I was like, okay, I'll give it time. And then I didn't hear from him. It was like 9, a little past 9. So I called him again. The same thing happened. And so then I voice messaged my bestie and was like, I think I'm being stood up and I'm going to leave soon. And so that's what I did. I left. I started driving home and then realized, oh, you're in the area, or you're closer to the area where there's this hotel that has a restaurant and bar that you've wanted to try, the restaurant and the bar. So why not? You're all dressed up with nowhere to go, no place to go. And so I was really annoyed that I like wasted eyeliner and lip gloss and a whole outfit. So I was like, yeah, let me do that. Let me just go ahead, and I could sit at the bar on my own, have a cocktail and a meal, because I was also starving by this point as well. And so I went, and it was a great choice. And I've had this experience like 2 times since my like moving to my town and having left a past relationship. I've had this situation twice before this, where I intentionally go out on my own and I meet cool people and I have a fun experience. And I cannot stress enough how valuable it is to do this. It helps you have new experiences, practice social skills, make new friends, meet people to date, get new information. That's what I really love about it. So talking to people, and I learn about restaurants or foods or anything that maybe weren't on my radar. And so, in this case, I went and got a seat, and I actually started recording some stuff on Instagram for my stories about being stood up. And I don't know, maybe the guy passed out asleep and didn't hear his phone, but either way, no thank you. And so I'm doing that, and then eventually this man and woman walk in and they sit near me at the bar, and I forget exactly how we ended up talking, but I want to say maybe the woman like engaged me about like my drink or my food or something, and I shared in that moment. And maybe they might have asked me like, "Oh, why are you here on your own?" or something like that. Maybe something like that. And I said, "Yeah, I've been stood up." But I should rewind. Before then, I was engaging with the bartender who was really cool, and I had told him I had been stood up. He said that I needed a shot. So when the man and the woman were getting a shot, he poured one for me as well, and that was on the house, and so that was really cool. So at this point, the 4 of us have banter going on. So me, the bartender, the man and the woman, they know the bartender by name. They've clearly been, I'm observing and noticing they've clearly been here before. And so we start talking. Sorry, I need to time my, the brewing for my coffee and my French press. 4 minutes. 4 minutes, okay. So we're talking and everything, and I come to find out that the woman lives in DC, but she's been traveling back to town because, at this point I didn't know exactly why, so I guess I'll leave it there. And that the guy lives in town, but is having renovations on his house, so he's staying in hotels locally. And we start talking about stuff. We start talking about the different generations, Gen Z, millennials, all of that. And they're like, "What? We're not boomers. What generation are we in?" I'm like, "Gen X, your Generation X." So they were Gen Xers, and it was a good time. And I have a tendency for this to happen. Like, Gen Xers are my vibe when it comes to randomly meeting people when I'm out on my own. This happened when I first moved here. I intentionally went out by myself the day before Thanksgiving to try out a bar in my area that I was interested in, and I meet this group of 3 Gen Xers. It turns out one of them lives on my street, and became friends, and it's cool. So so we just for the evening, like chatted and hung out and all sorts of stuff. And they recommended certain meals. The woman recommended a drink to me that I had initially thought about getting because it involved watermelon, which is my favorite fruit. But then I saw it also involved tequila, which is like not an alcohol that I love. But she was like, "Yeah, I don't love tequila either, but you can't taste it so much. It's really good." So the guy had offered to get me my second drink, and so I got that, and it was delicious. And so her and I are forever bonded on this drink recommendation. And I mean, it was a hoot. What can I say? Like, we talked about all sorts of things and laughed and joked, et cetera, et cetera. And we at one point got up to go outside for a little bit. Um, and that's when I had asked more about the woman, and she mentioned that she had actually been traveling here because she was caring for her mom, and her mom had actually passed away only days ago. It turns out the guy's mother had also passed away only a few months before this, and so um, that's how they met, because they both happened to be at that hotel bar like over the past week or so. So they were new friends, and so everyone just kind of came together. It was a lot of fun. I had a ball. I had a great night, met some new cool people, connected with them on different platforms and things like that. And yeah, I mean, I definitely plan to return to that place. And so I likely will see at least some of them again. And look at that. And I had such a good time that I'm almost certain that it would have been a better time than the date that I was supposed to have. That's just how I feel. I feel like it was. I mean, the universe said no. This is where you need to go, and so I went, and I loved it. And I don't know why I ended on that note, because ultimately I want to say, like, do not hesitate to like step out of your comfort zone a bit. Go out by yourself. Identify places that you have been interested in trying. Like maybe you're like, oh, I'd love to go on a date there. Great, put it on your list for places for a date, but also maybe venture there yourself. Going to the bar when if there's a restaurant and has a bar, that's always a good option when you're by yourself. You don't have to feel, you can feel more awkward to be at a table on your own, that sort of thing. So go to the bar, have a book, get a meal, get a drink, have your phone if you feel like that helps. But literally just so that you can practice being in a place on your own that oftentimes we see ourselves as having to go with someone else, and that's not the case. And you can meet new people, and then you're not by yourself. But even if the whole time you're there, you are on your own. I just think there's so much power. It's empowering to go out and do these sort of things and just kind of be comfortable in your own space. And again, like it does push you to like practice social skills, saying hi to someone, chatting up the bartender, you know, noticing things about people and making, friendly comments and things like that. And this only builds your skills for even dating and going on dates with people. So, I highly recommend solo outings. I'm a big fan, and this was one that was particularly awesome because it went from a negative to a positive. So, get yourself on a solo date.